Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County, has already formally accused the cases. So this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a judicial officer, and I will be addressing each case on a one-on-one basis. I will be advising you as to what the charges are that have been brought against you, who's going to be your counsel, what's your next court date if relevant, and what's your bond going to be. For some of you, your bond may be modified. For others, it may remain the same according to the warrant that's been set forth. So presently, we are going to address these cases. Please remember that if you are a defendant accused of a misdemeanor offense or offenses, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Anything you say during the course of this virtual court proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case, especially by the prosecutors. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you from either the conflict defense list or from the public defender's office. Okay, courtroom 2, who do we have first, please?
Position 9.
All right, let me see what position that is. Did you say Deshana?
Ashana Ashanti House,
Oh, okay,
position 9.
9. Oh, last name House, okay.
Ayana.
Yes? Yes,
I got
Mr.
it.
Tucson?
No, I was pulling the name. Okay.
Okay, position number 9, we have Ayana Ashanti House, accused of simple battery, domestic violence with regards to a roommate incident. Case number 22 CR 002862E. Ms. House, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going.
That's my case, Your Honor.
All right, your
Good
attorney.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your attorney is Mr. Paul Bartel. Mr.
Arrest.
Cheney.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, no problems. Thank you, Tucson. Thank you. So this is a first arrest for Ms. House. Mr. Cheney, I was curious, was there any cross-defendant? Was Mr. Marquis Porterfield also arrested?
That is my understanding, Your Honor. Both parties were arrested. I don't have that particular case. I don't know if it's on this calendar.
It's not. I haven't seen any cases with regards to him. So if there's one created, it's not present today. But we'll move on. What's your bond recommendation? I've read the warrant. I've read the issues addressed in the warrant. What's your recommendation for someone with no priors?
Yes, Your Honor. Our recommendation would be 2,000 surety, no objection to signature, no contact with victim, 1 day AA, anger assessment, no weapons, no drugs, alcohol, no new violations.
Okay. Mr. Bartel, I'm going to grant a signature bond. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. She can sign up for her bond today, but she must comply with the following conditions in order to maintain a signature bond. If she violates the conditions, her bond will be revoked and converted to a cash bond or a surety bond. She's to have no further contact with Marquis Porterfield, Porterfiel. She can return to the 2423 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, as long as Mr. Porterfield no longer resides there. She's not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcohol, and possess no weapons or firearms. And she's to complete a 1-day anger awareness program while she is out on a pretrial bond. Her next court date will be sent to her at her address, I'm assuming is 2423 Martin Luther King. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And please show up for court when summoned. Otherwise, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. And we just wanted to clarify, could she return to the residence one time with law enforcement if he is still there, just to get her belongings?
Yes, if he's still residing there, then she can return one time only. Then she would have to find alternative housing and update the court with her new address within 30 days.
Right. My understanding is she is staying somewhere else, Your Honor.
Okay, that makes it easier then. So in that case, we would need her new address. Do you have it, Mr. Bartel?
Actually, do you have that address, Ms. House?
Yes.
Okay, please give it to the officer who's standing next to you, and he will put that in the chat feature. Is it Officer, I'm sorry, is it Officer Francois, Officer Norris? I'm not sure who's standing there.
The Officer Glanton, Judge.
Oh, yes, sir. Good afternoon. Officer Glanton, if you can take down her new address and put it in the chat to Holly Bridgewater.
Okay, received.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, next case, please.
This case gonna be 14.
Got it. We have Cedric Manning. Mr. Manning, your case number is 22 CR 002855G. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim, I understand?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to request for a breakout room for this for a very few seconds about the allegation.
All right, I'm going to waive sounding on the allegations. Do we still need a breakout?
Nope.
Okay.
In the case, no problem.
All right, and Mr. Manning has been accused of 2 misdemeanor offenses, including loitering and prowling. And Ms. Kim, you have advised him of his other charge, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, Mr. Manning, as I said, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. And Mr. Tucson, any priors?
I don't have that file. He went to felony, so it's over there.
All right. Mr. Cheney, if you're prosecuting, would you have his prior GCIC and his recommendation?
Your Honor, the GCIC is 26 cycles in Georgia, 7 in Florida. The most concerning to the state is an open sexual battery charge from.
Well, we're not going to reference any of those charges. I've waived sounding on those charges.
Right, I was just noting that for the actual recommendation, which is $5,000 surety, no contact with the victim. She is not listed in the warrant that I can see, so that would probably be impossible, but he would need to stay away from the Georgia State University campus. No weapons, no drugs or alcohol, no new violations. Because of the voluminous criminal history is why we're asking for such an amount. Thank you, Your Honor. And you have read the warrants, I see.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Mr. Manning is 32 years old, and he does have residency for himself, and he has 2 children, 7 and 5. He has been here in Georgia for all his life. His family is all here, and I apologize, Your Honor. He says that he has a job, 2 jobs. He's been working last 1 month, and he really wants to keep those jobs. He graduated from high school, and
Where does he work?
TJ Friday, and there's another small food court at Lenox Mall.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
All
So that's his wishes, and we would like to request for a signature on bond on behalf of him. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature bond because of his open case pending, we would like to request for $1,000 surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
On the loitering and prowling is going to be 1,000. On the other charge is going to be 4,000. His total bond is 5,000. It is a surety bond. He is to stay away from the victim in this present case, and unfortunately, the warrant is devoid of the identity of the victim. So all I can say at the present time is that probably needs, I'm trying to find anywhere in these documents where they've referenced a name, but I don't have a single one.
I could not find it through either.
Okay. And the other requirement is to stay away from all Georgia State University property. He's not allowed on the campus, which includes the buildings, the parking lots, any sports or recreational facilities that belong to Georgia State University. He's to stay away from all of them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Next court date will be Oh, gosh,
I'm sorry, May 24th.
May 24th. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Repeat, please, position number and name.
15.
15. I have Philip De Jesus Minarski.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Minarski, you've been accused of battery, criminal trespass, domestic violence from April 27, 2022. You have the right to remain silent as so advised, and your attorney is going to be Ms. J. Kim. Your next, your priors are Mr. Tucson.
Oh, my bad. First arrest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cheney?
Your Honor, our bond recommendation in this case is a $2,500 surety bond, no contact with victim AA 1 day, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, one-time law enforcement escort if needed. The victim contact, she has reached out to us. She may be on Zoom. Her name is AYLA, second name BRYSON, Bryson. And she stated that to our office, she did not, she was not going back to the residence and that she was going to be living with relatives soon. That's why I did not know if she needed to go back. That was not mentioned in the notes. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Philip is 30 years old and they have been apparently complaining witness, has been common law wife for about 13 years.
I'm
They
sorry,
have-
I do beg your pardon.
Yes.
They're what?
Common law wife. So
Where have they been living for the last
Yes,
13 years?
13 years. Yes, Your Honor.
Where have they been living in the last 13 years?
1327 Grand
No, where? In Georgia?
Georgia, Your Honor.
Okay, common law marriages were repealed in the 90s.
Correct.
So-
So he's not,
so
that's why.
There's no common law relationship.
Right.
Just to clarify.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
correct. Ex-girlfriend. But they have lived together for 13 years and they do have 2 children together, 13 and 7 years old.
Mhm.
And he actually has a job. He's been working at golf courses for about 10 years and he didn't complete high school. He completed up to 9th grade. And this is just first arrest, and pretrial service has recommended for signature on bond, and we would like to recommend that for signature on bond as well. And they are living separately. This has happened in April. There has been plenty of cooling time among them and between them, and mainly father is taking care of the children. So that's what we are asking for, is signature on bond.
When you say the father, you mean he is looking after the children? He has.
Yes, Your Honor.
care? Okay. All right. Is Miss Bryson on the Zoom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miss Bryson, I do not see anyone identified as Ayla or Bryson or anything to that effect. So I'm moving on. On the battery, the bond is going to be set at 3,500. The trespass is 1,500. The total bond is set at 5,000. It is a signature bond through pretrial. Mr. Minalski, you are not married to Ayla Bryson, and this is no common law relationship recognized under the laws of the state of Georgia.
Right.
You are required to stay away and have no contact with Ayla Bryson. You're not to contact and communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, including in person, third party, well, scratch the third party, in person, through a phone or computer device, or through social media. You may return to your home location as long as Ms. Ayala Bryson does not occupy the premises, no illegal drugs, no weapons, and no firearms. And while you are out on a signature bond, you will complete a 1-day anger awareness program. I'll allow for third-party transfer of the minor children that you share with Ms. Bryson, which means that any visitation and custody with the children must be arranged through a third party, like a friend or a relative or something to that effect. You'll report to pretrial once a month, and if you get arrested again, this $5,000 bond gets converted to a cash bond or a surety bond. Do you have any questions about your bond?
No, thank you.
Your next court date will be sent to you at your current address. Thank you.
Next case, 1-6-16.
Mr. George Ellis Simmons, Sr., is accused of battery from June 22nd, 2020. Mr. Simmons, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. Mr. Tucson, any priors? Mr. Ellis, or Mr. Simmons, excuse me?
14 total. History out of Wyoming, West Virginia, and Illinois.
What was his last disposition?
Oh, hold on. Let me check that one. Had to be in Illinois. Let me see. No, that was 06. Hold on, Judge.
All right, no problem.
Bookmark these. Hold on. Oh, last arrest was back in October out of Wyoming, actually. Misdemeanor unlawful possession of a controlled substance. That was a conviction. So that was the last one. That's his last arrest in like the immediate past, because Illinois was like 05. He was sentenced to some stuff. And he had a 06 arrest out of Wisconsin for disorderly conduct and suspended license.
All right. Has anything occurred between June of 2020 to the present other than this arrest?
The 2021.
What was the,
Outside of that, no, that was the last arrest.
what was the 2021 again?
The unlawful possession of a controlled substance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, out of Wyoming. Yes.
All right. Mr. Cheney, before I move forward, Ms. Kim, what is your client's present address? Is it still at the Angler Avenue location?
Yes, Your Honor.
He's still neighbors with that, with the alleged victim?
That part, I don't know. Would you please answer, Mr. Seaman? Are you still neighboring?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, all right, Mr. Cheney, what's your recommendation?
Your Honor, because of the criminal history, even though it's not recent, we asked for a $2,500 surety bond. No contact with the victim. I'll leave it up to the court's discretion as to where he's going to stay away from, since he is the neighbor. We'd ask for AA 1 day, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, no new violations of Georgia law. The victim's name, for the record, is Sarita Sprigler, Sarita Thank you.
Thank you. All right. With regards to George Simmons, it's going to be a signature bond, and we need to put it down as per judge. It's going to be a $3,500 signature bond. He may return to 707 Angler Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. He can still live there. He's to have no violent contact, which means no physical altercations and no verbal arguments with Miss Sarita Sprigler. And do you understand, Mr. Simmons, what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Judge, I think the victim is on the line.
Miss Sprigler? All right, let me see. Where is she? Sarita, if you can hear us, you need to unmute your screen and start your audio. I mean, unmute your audio and start your video. Sarita Sprigler. All right, moving on.
Unmute. Okay.
Miss Sarita, we can't see you.
Yes.
All right.
Hello?
Hello. Do you have a room with better lighting? I can just see your glasses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Ms. Strigler, this is a warrant that was taken out back in 2020 with regards to George Simmons. Does he still live next door to you?
Yes, and I would just like to say, Your Honor, that I don't want to press charges. We
All
have
right.
resolved the situation.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. All right. Thank you, Ms. Strigler. As I was saying, no further violent contact with Sarita Strigler. No drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. And Mr. Simmons, you will complete a one-day anger awareness program with the pretrial services. You'll report to court once a month. Report to pretrial once a month. And your next court date will be sent to you at the Angler Avenue location. All right?
Understand.
Understood. Very good. Thank you. That concludes this case. Thank you, Ms. Strigler.
You're welcome.
All right, next case is 4, 5, and 6.
I don't know. He said, oh, shit, how you get out?
Oh, Ms. Sarita, watch your language. If the host can remove Sarita from the Zoom, that would be good. Thank you. Okay. We are addressing Mr. Sequavius Franklin. Mr. Franklin has got 3 cases with us, and they are as follows. The first case stemmed from an October 23rd, 2021 incident, case number 22 CR 002-860H, in which Mr. Franklin's been accused of battery, domestic violence, allegedly involving one Ms. Dara Dix. Second case, position number 5, is case number 22 CR 002-863H, State versus Sequavia Franklin, charged with battery, domestic violence from a December 31st, 2021 incident involving one alleged victim, Dara Dix. The third case, position 6, is 22 CR 002-865H, stemming from an incident of August 30th, 2021, in which he's been accused of battery, domestic violence involving one alleged victim by the name of Alice Wallace. Mr. Franklin, these are the 3 active open cases that we have listed on today's calendar. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of the case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is
That's my case, Your Honor.
Okay, just wanted to make sure the conflict is not involved in this case, right?
We've done a conflict check, Your Honor. That's correct.
All right. So, Mr. Franklin, your attorney is Mr. Paul Bartel. Mr. Tucson?
So he went to felony, and my coworker has that file as well.
All right.
But I'll go check and see what happened in felony. I'll be back.
That's quite all right. That's quite all right. Mr. Cheney, what is your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. 46 cycles on the criminal history. Our recommendation is a $2,000 cash bond on each case for a total of $6,000 cash bond. All 3 of these are extremely violent. All 3 women were sharing children with the defendant, and 2 of them had facial injuries, bleeding from the mouth. 1 had other visible injuries. Also, stay away from both victims, excuse me, and no weapons, no alcohol, drugs, no new violations. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Bartel?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I have spoken with Mr. Franklin regarding these cases. He is currently looking for work right now, Judge. He is receiving Social Security disability in addition to that. I'm advised that he does have family in the area, including an aunt, his cousins, and a brother, and other extended family members. He does dispute the allegations in the warrants, and as your Honor has noted, these are allegations, and he does enjoy the presumption of innocence. Mm-hmm. He indicates that he would like to ask for a signature bond based on all that. I've explained to him the sorts of factors the court looks at in making that decision, and if the court is not inclined to grant a signature bond, we would ask for a $1,500 good bond on each of the charges. He indicates to me that in the incident in August, he was actually stabbed. He tells me that he was a victim in that, and he went to Grady for a significant period of time. So we would just ask the court to take all of that into consideration.
Okay, and you'll be able to get a Grady report at least for the SAP calendar?
We'll work on that, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, on the GCIC, I just looked and he does have even though it was a while back, 30 years, I believe, he does have a murder conviction. I'm not sure how he got out, but he does on the GCIC.
Well, I'm only considering the dispositions from the last few years.
Okay,
But,
thank you.
given the frequency of these allegations, given the nature of these allegations, I'm going to grant the solicitor's request for a $2,000 cash bond on each charge. No further contact with Daria Dix and no further contact with Alice Wallace. He's to stay away, with regards to position 4 and 5, he's to stay away from, I think it's 1999. Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. I think it's 616 Amal Drive in Atlanta, Georgia, with regards to Miss Dix. And I think it's 1181 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard in Atlanta with regards to Alice Wallace in position 6. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And his next court date will be May 24th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Next case, position 7.
Okay. State versus Alston Freeman. Mr. Freeman's accused of simple battery domestic violence from 22 CR 002-856G, in which the incident date appears to be May 10th, 2022. And Mr. Freeman, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms.
That's my case, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's right. I think, okay. Mr. Tucson, any priors, please?
His third arrest. Last was 2016 robbery, simple battery. Those were non-pros. 2015 armed robbery, non-pros. Ag assault, same thing. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission, non-pros as well. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. For the simple battery family violence charge, we're asking for a $3,500 surety bond. The conditions is that he have no contact with the victim, Miss Alexandria Bruce. For the record, that's spelled A-L-E-X. And as in Nancy, D-R-I-A. The last name is Bruce, traditional spelling. That he stay away from 1985 Rambling Drive. The street name is spelled R as in Robert, A-M as in Mary, B-L-I-N as in Nancy, G Drive, Southwest, apartment 326 in Atlanta, Georgia.
I've got Rambling Lane. I'm sorry. I just wanted to confirm. Straight off the mark, but is it Rambling Drive?
I believe it is. I can confirm.
I've got Drive, Judge. It looks like that. I think the lane was just kind of a scribble there.
Okay, we'll go with Drive.
Okay.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
For the other conditions, no drugs or alcohol, 1-day anger management, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, the state's very concerned as far as risk to intimidation of witnesses. In this case, Your Honor, the officer learned that the victim, Miss Bruce, and the defendant were involved in a dispute. The defendant intentionally pulled on Mrs. Bruce's hair and pushed her on the ground. The officer did not observe any injuries on Miss Bruce, and the defendant was arrested, and these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. If I may respectfully remind the court that though he has charges that have been no pros, he does have 3 cycles, and therefore he poses a risk of reoffending. And nothing further from the state. I believe the victim is on the line as well, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Alexandria Bruce, if you'd like to address the court, you would need to start your video and unmute your screen, please. You have the right not to mute your screen. Oh, there you are. Okay. All right, Ms. Bruce, good afternoon. My name is Judge Law. Did you want to address the court with regards to this matter? You don't have to. It's purely optional.
No, I mean, I'm okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay.
Okay, thank you. You may mute your screen, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mr. Bartel?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Freeman. I reviewed the records that are available. As indicated, he does qualify for a signature bond through pretrial. I believe the charges that were listed, as noted, they were all dismissed. It appears that he doesn't have a conviction on those. And the most recent arrest was about 6 years ago. He indicated that he can stay with his mother. She lives on Camp Creek Parkway. So a no further contact order would not be an issue here. He does dispute what is in the police report, but I know that is an issue to address at another time. He is employed full-time. He works at the airport for Qatar Airlines. He does ticket work, and he's a service agent as well. And as I indicated, I'm told that his mother lives in Atlanta and his stepfather as well. And I'm also told that he's got cousins in the area. So he has ties to the community. And based on all that, we would ask for a signature bond.
Bond is set at $3,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. He will have no contact with Alexandria Bruce from this moment onwards. Do not contact her in any way, form, or manner, in person, through a third party, through any kind of electronic or social computer device, and even on social media. You're to stay away from the 1985 Rambling Drive location in Atlanta, Georgia. Do you have belongings at that location?
Yes.
All right. You're allowed a one-time return with a police officer to that location to remove all your belongings. That visit cannot exceed 2 hours. You will report to pretrial once a month. You will not consume any illegal drugs and no alcohol, and you're not to have any weapons or firearms. You will be subject to random screens for illegal drugs and or alcohol. You are also to complete a one-day anger awareness program with the pretrial services. And if you violate any of the conditions of the bond, you could be arrested and your bond could be revoked and converted to a cash bond, a surety bond, or no bond at all. The next court date will be sent to you at your new address. So you have 30 days to make sure that we have your correct mailing address, and you need to come down to the clerk's office and update us with your new mailing address. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, next case is position 8.
Mr. Warren Mathis Hill Jr. is accused of battery, domestic violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree with respect to a May 10, 22 incident in case number 22 CR 002852E. Mr. Hill, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Paul Bartel. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
I got first arrest.
All right, Ms. Tortorello, I'm familiar with the terms of the warrant. This is his first arrest. What is the state recommending?
Yes, Your Honor. So for battery, family violence, a $4,500 surety. For cruelty to children in 3rd degree, a $500 surety, which would make it a total of $5,000 in surety. The conditions: no contact with the victims, both Shanita Hull. The first name is spelled S-H-E, N as in Nancy, I, D as in dog, A for the record. Hull is spelled H-U-L as in log, L as in log. And also to stay away from the juvenile victim, X, and the last name is Hull. Also to stay away from the location 4355 Cascade Road Southwest, apartment N as in Nancy 6 in South Fulton. That he take a one-day anger management class, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, as far as I understand that this defendant has no record other than this case. However, as far as intimidating the victim, the officer upon arrival spoke with the victim, who said her ex-boyfriend, the defendant Warren Hill, who she's lived with for over 2 years, had physically assaulted her. Ms. Hull advised she was punched, slammed on the ground, and thrown against the wall by the defendant. She further advised.
I've read the warrant. I'm familiar with it. I understand.
Okay. So furthermore, Your Honor, the victim, we were able to speak with the victim. She did share with us, she did confirm they did live together. They share no children. She stated that this is not the first time this has happened, and this is a pattern. Every time she tries to leave, the defendant does get violent. The victim stated that the defendant did place his hands around her neck.
Yes,
did not
yes.
apply-
Again, Ms. Tortorella, we don't need to go into the allegations of the warrant. I was just more.
I'm stating, Your Honor, respectfully what the victim has advised our office.
Yeah, and she's present. If you don't mind, I'd just like to see if she wants to say anything. Ms. Shanita Hull, my name is Judge Lal. You have a right to allocate or say contribute to this proceedings if you'd like to. You also have the option of not saying anything. Would you like to contribute? And you can unmute if you want to say something, or you can say, what would you like to do?
I'll stay silent.
Okay, thank you. Can you mute your screen, please? Okay. Let me hear from Mr. Bartel, and if you have anything else to add, Ms. Tortorella, I will move on from there, but let's see what Mr. Bartel has to say.
Yes, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Hill regarding this case and reviewed the records that are available to me. I don't see, anything in here that would indicate a risk of any intimidation of witnesses. As has been indicated, I'm told it's his first arrest. I'm told he has no criminal history. I've also been advised that he does plan to live elsewhere during the pendency of this case. So no further contact order would not be an issue. We would just ask that he be able to go back to the location one time with law enforcement to get his belongings. And I've been advised that he works full-time. He works as an Amazon delivery person. That's again full-time, so he is stably employed. And based on all that, we would ask the court that he be allowed to sign his own bond.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
On the battery domestic violence, the bond is going to be set at $3,500, and that's going to be a surety bond. On the cruelty in the third degree, that's going to be a $3,500, and that's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. His total bond is a $7,000 split bond. And these are the conditions to the bond. No further contact with Shanita Hull and her child identified as X. Hull. He's to stay away from 4355 Cascade Road, the apartment and complex, as well as the apartment at issue, as well as the entire apartment complex. He cannot return to the entire apartment complex. He's to find alternative housing and update the court with a new address within 30 days. He's not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcohol, and not possess any weapons or firearms. Based on the alleged egregiousness of the allegations set forth in the warrant, Mr. Hill, you're not to possess any pets. There shall be no pets that you shall be caring for or have. You are to surrender the canine or the dog in question, either to the Fulton County Animal Control or to the care and custody of another person or family, pending final resolution of this case. But wherever you live, you're not allowed to have any pets in your home. Your next court date is going to be May 24th. If you have any personal belongings that belong to you and they still are at 4355 Cascade Road, a third party may be appointed to go and retrieve your belongings. Ms. Hull, I need to know if there's someone that you both mutually know that would be able to collect Mr. Hill's belongings from your location? Shanita Hull?
Yeah.
Is there a third person who can come and retrieve Mr. Hill's belongings?
No. He has his family and I have my family, but it's not like someone that's mutual.
You both known each other for 2.5 years. No, it's not a single person that both of you know that's not family?
No.
Good Lord. Okay. Well, y'all have to figure out which family member y'all are, that you need to figure out which family member that you're comfortable with who can take his belongings and bring it to his family.
I'll be in touch with his mother, Your Honor. I think she would probably be the best choice.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Next court date is May 24th. Thank you. Next case, please.
Position 10.
Mr. Eric Jackson is case number 22 CR 002850D with regards to a traffic matter from May 10th, 2022. Mr. Jackson, you've been accused of driving with improper or erratic lane change, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and driving while in possession of an open alcohol container or containers. You have a right to remain silent as advised, and your attorney is going to be.
So my case, Your Honor.
Understood. Mr. Paul Bartel. Mr. Tucson, any prior traffic matters, DUIs or similar charges?
Last arrest was 1993 DUI conviction.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tortorella, what's the state's position?
And before I go there, Your Honor, I want to add that his driver's history did state that on January 26, 1988, he pled to DUI out of DeKalb County State Court. That was a no-low plea, Your Honor. So he's had 2 DUIs in his history.
Okay.
For his DUI, I'm asking for a $5,000 surety bond. For the open container, a $1,000 surety. For the erratic lane change, a $1,000 surety. That will be a total of $7,000 in surety. The conditions, no driving, for him to have ADET, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this is a public safety concern. He does have 3 cycles out of Georgia, so he poses a risk of reoffending. This is a public safety concern, as this does involve a DUI. Based on the officer's observations, the defendant couldn't even stand up straight, and the officer could not finish performing the FST because he was in fear of the he was concerned for the defendant's own safety at that point. For this reason, Your Honor, we do feel like a $7,000 surety bond is more than reasonable for this matter. Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Bartel?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I have reviewed the paperwork that's available and spoken with Mr. Jackson. As indicated, his last conviction reference was over 30 years ago. The last arrest was 29 years ago. And I think given the lack of any arrests within the last several decades, as well as the fact that he has ties to the community. I'm told that he lives with his wife of 30 years in Atlanta. Also told that he's been employed full-time for the last 5 years. He's a chef at Ashwood Meadows, which is a retirement community in Johns Creek. Pretrial services indicated that he would meet their criteria. So given all of that, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond with any conditions of the court, believes would be appropriate, including perhaps any kind of evaluation. If the court's not inclined to grant a signature bond, we would ask for a $1,500 bond on the DUI charge and a $500 bond on each of the other 2 charges, which would be $2,500 total.
On the DUI, it's going to be $1,500. On the open alcohol container, it's going to be $1,000. and that's going to be a total of a 2,500 surety bond. On the improper erratic lane change, that's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. This is a $5,500 split bond. Next court date is May 24th. He is not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons, firearms. He will report to pretrial once a month and be subject to random screens for alcohol or illegal drugs. No driving unless he has the appropriate permit by the Department of Driver Services. Since this is a DUI arrest, his driver's license will be suspended in 30 days unless he gets a waiver from a ALS hearing. So he would need to make sure that he's not driving unless he has a specific permit from the Department of Driver Services.
Very well. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Next case, position 11.
Position 11 is case number 22 CR 002-849E. This would be State versus Dontavius Johnson, accused of simple battery domestic violence from a April 1st, 2022 incident. Mr. Jackson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney will be Mr. Paul Bartel. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
20 total.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I believe that would be Ms. Kim's.
Oh, is it? Have we gone to Ms. Kim? Okay, I thought it was positions 12 onwards.
That's the way I understood too, but I'll double check, Your Honor.
Okay, so you've spoken to Mr. Johnson then, Ms. Kim?
Mr. Johnson, actually, no, I have not talked to.
Mr. Bartel, are you certain it's Ms. Kim's?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was confused. Yes, I believe. Well, let me see.
Position 11, this is Dontavius Johnson. Alleged location is from Allison Court. If you haven't spoken to him, we can allow you.
Yes, I actually have, Your Honor. I'm sorry, it was buried under a pile of all of the other paperwork. Yes, I've reviewed the available paperwork and I'm ready to proceed. I apologize.
Hey, it's an occupational hazard. It shows a busy mind. Okay, a busy desk is a busy mind. So there you go.
A cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind too.
It's called managed chaos. Okay.
But it's better than having an empty desk because we know what that signifies.
Okay. All right, Mr. Tucson. I'm sorry, Mr. Tucson, repeat.
20 total.
20 total, okay.
Last arrest was 2017, probation violation out of Clayton County. He's on probation for ag assault, a deadly weapon, ag assault, family violence, ag assault vehicle into a person. That's 17 SC 150695. September 2017, they gave him 5 years probation. So I guess it's a timeout in September this year.
Is there another prior ag assault before 2017?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking through the file.
All right. Ms. Tortorella, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. For the simple battery family violence, a $6,000 surety bond, and I will, in my argument, I will explain as to the reason why. The conditions: no contact with the victim. Her name is Kiara Nicole Parker. First name is spelled K-I-E, R as in Robert, A. Nicole without an H is her middle name, and the last name is Parker, traditional spelling. For the defendant to stay away from 925 Conley Road in Atlanta. For no third-party transfer of the child. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, we're concerned about risk to public safety and to the victim. I understand that Your Honor has already read the warrant, but what the warrant didn't state was that this defendant pulled out a gun at the victim and said, quote, "Bitch, I will kill you," after he spit on her face.
This is the allegations that the victim has reported?
These are the allegations on the incident report reported by the police officer.
Okay.
The victim then advised the defendant, this happened on April 1st, 2022, right? And so then on May 10th, 2022, this is what the incident report states, is that Miss Parker called 911 because the defendant was banging at her door, and she stated to the police that he keeps coming back to the residence. And the victim advised the defendant has a no contact after the first incident against that happened in April. The defendant was not originally at the scene, but arrived back at the scene because he wanted to see his son, and he was arrested yesterday due to that warrant. So we are going to be speaking to the officer regarding that assault with the gun to see if this can be upgraded to a felony. Further, we're going to investigate if there is in fact a no contact order that the victim imposed on a TPO for an aggravated stalking. So Your Honor, and you did ask about that aggravated assault. He was charged with aggravated assault, but he pled only to simple battery, and aggravated assault was dismissed in 2004 in Fulton County Superior Court. I have another conviction that I'm going to share with you and opposing counsel via chat that I'm not going to convey in.
Is it the 2004 matter?
2007.
2000. Oh, I don't see a 2000. I got the 2004 matter, but go ahead.
Yes, and then his probation was revoked in 2017 and in Clayton County, and nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. Mr. Bartell?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I have spoken with Mr. Johnson. I have reviewed the paperwork that is available. He does dispute the allegations. He says he doesn't even own a gun, but I'd advised him that getting into the facts of the case is something that he'll have an opportunity to do later, but he does dispute the allegations that are in the police report. He does have somewhere else that he can stay, so a no further contact order would not be an issue. We would just ask that he be able to come back to the property once if he has any of his own belongings there with a police escort. I am advised that he does work 2 jobs. I'm advised that he works at Georgia Specialty as a furniture installer in the morning. He also is a manager at Sonic Burger in the evening. So he does work 2 jobs more than full time. So based on all that, we would ask for a $2,000 surety bond on the one charge.
The bond is set at $3,500. It is a surety bond. No contact whatsoever with Kiara Nicole Parker. You cannot be seen within 200 yards of her wherever she happens to be. You are to stay away from where she lives, where she works, wherever she happens to be standing. You're not to contact her in person, not through a phone or computer device, nor discuss her on social media, and you definitely cannot communicate with her through a third party. If she's living at the Conley Road location, you're to stay away from that entire location. You're not permitted to be anywhere within 200 yards of 925 Conley Road in Atlanta, Georgia. And you cannot return to that location to retrieve anything. If there are any belongings, Miss Kiara Parker can go ahead and pack up your belongings and contact a third person to have the items sent to you.
Now, I have the contact information for his mother, Your Honor. I can call her.
Okay, that's good. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And if he shares any children with Miss Nicole, he would need to file a legitimation action in the Superior Court to establish and get a court order to establish visitation and custody. He's not to contact any of the children that he has with Miss Parker unless he has a court order from Superior Court from a legitimation action. Do you have any questions about your bond?
Yes, well, I don't stay there. I don't have no property there, so I have no reason to go back there.
All right, that's check 1.
Okay, okay, and as far as I was already doing the legitimation with my son, trying to get visitation from him, and I don't have a gun. I don't have none of that.
So you've already filed, excuse me, you've already filed a legitimation action?
I put in the paper. I put in for the paperwork. They said 14 to 15 business days. They would send me the paperwork for it.
I don't know what that's about. I'm just asking you whether you personally have filed the paperwork.
No, I haven't.
All right. If then it seems that you don't understand what a legitimation action is. It is a separate lawsuit that you would have to fill out yourself and file on your own or through an attorney. And if you need assistance, you can go to the self-help department at 185 Central Avenue on the first floor.
Okay. Okay.
All right. But
Thank you,
otherwise,
Your Honor.
you're not to communicate with your children until you get a court order in your hand.
I got you.
Thank you. Next court date for this case is March 24. May 24.
Our next case is position 13.
There goes my phone. We have Barry Lewis, case number 22 CR 002859D, accused of simple battery against an officer and obstruction of a law enforcement officer from May 10th, 2022. Mr. Lewis, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
42 total.
All right.
January
What was his last two convictions?
I don't know, I have to go through it because he got history in Illinois. But last arrest was 2020. Simple battery, family violence, cruelty in the third. And that is open. I think that's open in Superior Court. I'm sorry, cruelty in the second degree. That's why.
Okay.
Case number 20 CP 189561.
All right.
Last arrest in Illinois looks like 2007 for unlicensed and an ordinance violation. 08 gambling.
But you said he had over 40 cycles. Are most of them from Illinois or Georgia?
Correct. It's over 30 in Illinois.
All right. That's adequate.
05 domestic battery arrest in Illinois.
All right. Mr. Cheney, what's your recommendation, please?
Your Honor, based on the voluminous criminal history, our recommendation is $4,000 total surety, $2,000 on each charge. Actually, no weapons, no drugs, alcohol, no new violations. Based on the allegations against the police officer and on this criminal history. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm a little curious. Wasn't this against the same officer, and doesn't it become a felony obstruction rather than two misdemeanor charges?
He actually puts, are you talking about two misdemeanor charges? It would be a felony obstruction?
No, I'm just saying this is simple battery against an officer. Was it the same officer or did I miss? Probably.
It's the same officer, but he did not offer or do violence, Your Honor. He just merely pushed his arm away when he was trying to arrest another person. So he actually put that in the warrant that there is no offer of violence.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lewis is 58 years old, and he has been here in Georgia for more than 14 years, and he has been self-employed as a construction worker to fix houses. His education level is 11th grade. We would like to request for signature on bond because he does not have anybody who can bail him out. He has 9 grandkids, but they do not make incomes for him to get out of the jail. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for $1,000 surety bond for the maximum amount. Thank you, Your Honor.
On the obstruction charge is going to be 1,000. On the simple battery is going to be 2. His total bond is set at 3,000. It is a surety bond. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And next court date is May 24th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next case, position 18.
James Albert Williams Jr. is accused of simple battery domestic violence from November 20th, 2021, case number 22 CR 002858G. Mr. Williams, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
Yeah, last arrest, July 2021, probation violation out of Clayton County. 2020 Clayton County probation violation, ag assault. 2020 Clayton County, 2 counts, battery family violence conviction. You got quite a bit of probation violations. 2018 simple battery, Clayton County.
Is that a
28
conviction?
It just shows as an arrest.
Okay.
2018 DeKalb County battery family violence arrest. 2017 probation violation. 2016 probation.
That's good. Thank you. All right. Is it Ms. Tortorella or Mr. Cheney?
That's my case, Your Honor.
All right, sir. What's your recommendation?
$2,000 bond. We'd ask for surety, no contact with the victim, no weapons, drugs, alcohol, no new violations, simply based on the 46 total cycles on the criminal record. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Mr. Williams is 55 years old. He has been here in Georgia for about 14 years. He does not have any family members here in Georgia. However, he recently got a job at Home Depot about 1.5 years. He has been working and he is enrolled in the program called Hope Atlanta, where he can get housings and he can get help for a lot of different issues that he's going through. So I think going back to that program and continuing that program will be more beneficial than being in the jail at this point. So we would like to request for signature on bond as he is trying very hard to get out of the homelessness that he's going through. If your honor is not inclined to give him signature on bond because of 46 cycles, we would like to request for $1,000 maximum surety bond, your honor. Thank you.
Is he residentially challenged right now?
Yes, your
okay.
honor.
Bond is set at $2,000 is a surety bond, no contact with LaShonda Davis, which means staying away from where she lives, where she works, or wherever she happens to be. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Thank you.
Thank you, your honor.
Next court date is May 24th. Officer Glanton, how are we doing in courtroom 2?
Done.
What's the next case?
We can go to South End.
Damn.
Hey, Glanton, what's up with Davis? Because I did have his file.
I do.
I believe he might still be next door.
All right. Tucson, I think you need to chat with him. All right. They need to control the courtroom. All right. South Annex, if you are ready, please.
Your Honor.
Right. There we are. Okay. All right. Deputy Milton, how many cases do you have, please?
I have Ms. Davis for Mr. Bartlett and Ms. Keys for Ms. Kim.
Okay.
Ms. Keys. Oh, come on, Ms. Davis, Mr. Bartlett.
Is this Jade Alexandria Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Davis, my name is Judge Lal, and I just want to let you know that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case during the course of this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you at the present time is going to be Mr. Paul Bartel. And he represents you in this new case 22 CR 0028544Y, in which you've been accused of simple battery domestic violence from September 21st, 2021, involving one Antonio Fortson. All right, we're going to first hear from Mr. Tucson. Mr. Tucson, do you have any priors? Oh, one arrest. She's at one prior arrest. Okay, Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. For the simple battery family violence at $3,000 surety bond, the conditions is that she have no violent contact with the victim, Antonio Fortson. And Antonio spelled A, N as in Nancy, T-O, N as in Nancy, I-O, Fortson, F as in Frank, O-R-T, S-O-N as in Nancy for the record. A, one-day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, no new violations of Georgia law, and for her to stay away from his address at 201 Honeycutt Street, apartment 201 in Atlanta. We do have concerns about intimidation of witness, Your Honor. This defendant did in fact make admissions that she did start the physical dispute by kicking the victim. And I believe that the victim is on the line, Your Honor.
Mr. Antonio, I see Antonio. I'm assuming that's Antonio. Mr. Fortson, is that you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Would you like to add anything to these proceedings?
Everything has been fine between me and Ms. Davis. Everything is fine.
Okay.
And we haven't had any issues.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Please mute your screen. Mr. Bartel?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I have reviewed the paperwork that was available. I've spoken with Ms. Davis. The report I have indicates that it's her first arrest. I know Mr. Howard has said that there was one prior arrest, but given that her history is minimal, if not non-existent, I've been advised by Ms. Davis that she and Mr. Fortson have been living together since this date in September, and she also says that there have been no further incidents. We would ask the court on all of that to consider a no further violent contact order, and that she be allowed to sign her own bond. I'm told that she works as a flight attendant for Southwestern Airlines. So she does have ties to the community, and that would be our request.
All right, thank you. Bond is set at $2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. No further violent contact with Antonio Fortson, but she cannot return to 311 Honeycutt Street in apartment 201, Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons, no firearms. And she will report to pretrial once a month and complete a one-day anger awareness program. She needs to give us a good mailing address within the next 30 days of being released on the signature bond, and her next court date will be sent to that address. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Next, we have position number 12, Ms. Keys.
We have Ms. B.R.Y.I. Tiana Keys, accused of criminal trespass and battery in case number 22 CR 002-851C. Ms. Keys, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of this case, and anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you will be Ms. J. Kin. Any priors on Ms. Keys, Mr. Tucson?
Second arrest. Last arrest was on the 9th of this month. She got arrested for suspended license at the city jail. Resident of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis?
Correct.
All right. All right. And Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. For the battery, a $2,000 surety bond, and for the criminal trespass, $500 surety bond. That's a total of $2,500 in surety. The conditions, no contact with the victim, and her name is Kushala Pearson. The first name is spelled Q-U, S as in Sam, H-A, L as in log, A, and Pearson is P as in Peter, E-A-R, S as in Sam, O-N as in Nancy. That she stay away from 112 Cortlandt Street, Northeast, apartment 1601 in Atlanta. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, a one-day anger management, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, I understand that there's just one cycle here. However, the state does have concerns for intimidation of witness. as this is a battery case and the defendant did come to the victim's address. And for this reason, we do feel a $2,500 surety bond, given her lack of criminal history, is reasonable for this matter. We also learned from the victim that her belongings are no longer in the apartment. Nothing further.
I really couldn't, I'm only speculating. I don't have the benefit of incident report, only the warrants. Is this a college roommate situation or what are we talking about? All right.
Your Honor.
Go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Ms. Keys is actually 19 years old, and her permanent residency is in Indiana, but she is full-time student at Clark University. She has a scholarship there, and she has been going there from ever since 2019. She graduated from high school when she was 16 with a GPA 3.8, and right now at Clark University, she has a GPA 3.9. She's also self-employed as a nail technician to support her financially. And they have been friends and roommates at the apartment. And my client claims that she was not the first aggressor. And indeed, she herself was bleeding that day as well. And that was completely self-defense. She's denying the allegation. And she, only thing that she wants from Miss Pearson is, there's a wallet that she is missing at her place. It has a very sentimental value. The photographs of her birth mother and birth father, who that's the only photos that she has. She really wants to get that. Other than that, she has no reason to go there. She does not want to be with her. She has no objection to stay away and no further contact, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond, which pretrial services also recommended. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, the victim is present on Zoom.
Yes, I noted that. Miss Pearson, my name is Judge Lal. If you'd like to add to the proceedings, I would need to place you under oath. Are you?
Okay, yes, that's fine.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Do you have any knowledge of Miss Key's wallet, apparently containing some photographs of sentimental value?
No, I don't have any of her belongings.
Put your hand down. You can put your hand down.
My mom contacted my leasing office, and they were supposed to send somebody to pick up her belongings a few months ago, and no one ever came. So last month I was under the impression that I was going to get ready to move. So that's when I got rid of all her belongings.
And when you say got rid, what do you mean?
Her belongings are no longer with me.
Well, I understand that, but they had to be physically moved from you to another location. So what does that mean?
That they're in the trash.
Okay.
I don't have her belongings anymore.
So you took all her belongings, whatever they were, and you put them in the trash?
Yes, along with other things that I had in my apartment that I was getting rid of in order to move.
All right. Well, Ms. Kim, that addresses your question.
And I also want to add that we were not roommates. We had initially became in contact because I hired her to work for me. And then after that, we just became friends, and I allowed her to stay with me because she didn't want to go back to where she claimed she was staying with a boyfriend or whatever. So I just let her stay with me from time to time, but I just want to make it known that she was not a roommate and she did not stay here permanently.
Okay. Anything else?
Also, there was an incident a few weeks ago in a school group chat, where she continued to harass me, and I asked the owner of the group chat to remove her, but she didn't want to get involved with that. So I just want to make that known for her not to have any contact.
I would like to make an objection. It has nothing to do with it.
And the objection is sustained. Ms. Pearson, if you would like to have no further contact in addition to what I'm going to order, you would need to obtain a protective order from the Fulton County Superior Court. There's no charge, and the office would be able to help you through the process.
I tried to make one, but I don't have an address for her, so I wasn't able to go through with the
All right, you would need to contact victim advocate and see how you can move forward from that point.
Okay, and lastly, I'm waiting on Geico to send me an estimate for the damage that was done to my car. I know the police officer wanted me to submit that for the report as well.
All right. Okay. Ms. Kim and Ms. Tortorella, with regards to Ms. Key's bond, on the criminal trespass is going to be $1,500. On the battery is going to be $3,500. That's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services.
Per judge.
Per judge, yes. And Ms. Keys, these are the conditions to which you need to comply if you want to maintain your signature bond status. If you violate any of the conditions of the bond, you will be arrested again. Your signature bond will be revoked and converted to either a surety bond, a cash bond, or no bond at all. Do you understand?
Yes.
First of all, no further contact with Prashela Pearson. You have to stay 200 yards away from her. You're not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, which includes in-person communication through a phone, through an electronic device like a computer or iPad, through any third party, and also on social media. So if there are any discussions, group chats, I don't know what else is out there, but any kind of electronic form of communication of which Ms. Pearson is a part of, you would need to refrain from that form of communication because now you have a no contact order. Do you understand, Ms. Peace? Okay.
Yes.
You have to stay away from 112 Cortlandt Street, the apartment complex, the entire complex, including where Ms. Keys used to live. No illegal drugs, no weapons, and no firearms, and no alcohol. You report to pretrial once a month. You may be subject to random screens, and you are to complete a one-day anger awareness program with the Fulton County pretrial services. I also want to make a note that the no contact order with Ms. Pearson applies to her pets as well. Understood?
Yeah.
All right. Your next court date will be sent to you at your current mailing address. I only have an Indianapolis address. Do you have a current mailing address that's not Cortlandt Street and it's in Atlanta?
No.
You'll need a current mailing address in order for you to be on pretrial. Otherwise, it will
I
have
can help her to get one from First Presbyterian Church, which they offer a mailing address for everybody. I'll help her. I'll give you a call, Miss Keys.
All right, Ms. Keys, your attorney is going to set up a contact with the First Presbyterian Church, and it will be your responsibility to make sure you go to the church to retrieve your mail so that you don't miss out on your next court date. Within 30 days, you need to update the court with your current mailing address, or if you do get placement, you need to let us know what's your current mailing address at all times. Do you have any questions about your bond?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's it from the South Annex, Your Honor. Have a good evening,
You
everybody.
too, Deputy Milton. You have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, attorneys, just go down the calendar, please.
One second, Your Honor.
Oh, yes. Yes, Officer Glanton.
Yeah, Mr. Davis, I think he's the only one. I just talked to him a minute ago, Your Honor.
Okay, that's good. By the way, Officer Glanton, do you have Darius Curry?
It's Officer Norris. I'm back. How you doing?
Oh, you're back. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all keep switching on me.
Yeah, we have to do that. We got to switch it up.
Sorry about that, Officer Norris. Sir, what happened to position 1, Mr. Curry?
Mr. Curry. I didn't see him.
Darius Curry, position 1.
I don't think we got any discovery on Mr. Curry, Your Honor.
Yeah, he
was, Your Honor, if I may, he was added towards the end of the day of like, but I think it was after 10 o'clock. He was added on the calendar. We did file an accusation in the witness list.
So we might see him tomorrow?
He was supposed to be on this calendar, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't on the full sheet, Your Honor, so I I didn't know.
Not a problem. We're going to reset him to tomorrow. He was booked in, he's been there for 2 days. He's got a warrant, so we can still see him. And I understand, Ms. Tortorello, that y'all have null pros the cruelty in the charge, so, or y'all plan to.
Yeah, it was a simple battery, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm not null pros, sorry. I'm assuming you've NOD'd that charge.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Curry is going to be reset to tomorrow, May 12th. All right, moving on to Mr. Randall Dwayne Davis. Mr. Davis's case is 22 CR 002-853G, in which he's been accused of battery, domestic violence from a February 10th, 2022 incident. Mr. Davis, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Paul Bartel. I'm going to go straight to the prosecutor, please. Ms. Tortorello, what's your bond recommendation, please?
Your Honor, our bond recommendation is a $6,000 cash bond. The conditions is that he have no contact with the victim, Ms. Kathy Mulder, Kathy spelled with a K, and Mulder spelled M as in Mary, O-U, L as in log, D as in dog, E, R as in Robert, that he absolutely stay away from 3164 Cushman Circle, apartment A24 in Atlanta. That he have no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, the reason for this cash bond is the following. This defendant has 3 open battery family violence cases against the same victim. The prior case number is 21 CR 003-958G, where on January 29th, 2021, the defendant hit Ms. Mulder 3 times on her face, and the victim did sustain an abrasion over her right eye. On January 30th of 2021, this defendant was granted a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial, where the following conditions were imposed: no further contact with Kathy Mulder, to stay away from 3164 Cushman Circle, apartment A24 in Atlanta. And he may return 1 time with a law enforcement officer to retrieve his belongings, no weapons and no drugs or alcohol, and that he not commit any new violations of Georgia law. I would like the court to take judicial notice of the bond order signed by yourself, Your Honor, Judge Law, which is in the Fulton County Odyssey system under the jail screen. The defendant then subsequently committed another battery offense against the same victim on February 10th, 2022, thereby in violation of his bond condition that was through pretrial. On May 10th, 2022, he was arrested on the battery family violence against Ms. Mulder again, where he forcefully pushed the victim to the ground, causing scratches to her elbows. Wow. This case was transferred to the DA's office, but it will be transferred down to our office as this defendant has not been yet convicted for any of his open cases. To add, he was arrested for both his February and May cases yesterday. And due to this offense, he is also in violation of his bond order, again, for under case number 21 CR 003-958G. Mm-hmm. The state will be revoking his bond under that case number, Your Honor. The state will also charge this defendant with felony aggravated stalking if he contacts the victim without her consent in the future. The victim has advised us that she does not wish to have absolutely any contact with this defendant, that she wants him to stay away from her residence.
Let me know.
Your Honor,
Sir, I would advise you not to say anything about the facts of the case.
Also, Your Honor, he's a multi-state offender. He has 8 cycles out of Alabama, 14, Your Honor.
Stop, Ms. Tortorello. I think Mr. Davis gets the picture. I think he got the picture. Mr. Bartel?
Yes, Your Honor. I have spoken with Ms. Davis. I have reviewed the paperwork that was made available. He is 56 years old. He does have a number of extended family members that live in the Atlanta area, including cousins and an uncle and a sister. He indicates that he and Ms. Mulder do not live together, so with no further contact order, would not create, any concerns regarding that. He is 56 years old. He is employed as a chef. I'm advised that he works 2 jobs, one at Traffic's restaurant and the other at Rebels Restaurant. Those are both on 12th Street in Midtown. And again, he does dispute the allegations that are in the report. This is something that allegedly occurred about 3 months ago. He indicated that to me that he went back to the residence at Ms. Mulder's invitation. But again, I'd advise him that he can get into the facts of the case when the time comes. But based on all of that, we would ask for a $2,500 surety bond.
All right. Bond is set at the state's request of a $6,000 cash bond only, no contact with Kathy Mulder, to stay 200 yards away from 3164 Cushman Circle in Southwest Atlanta. And no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons, and no firearms. And the $3,500 signature bond issued in case 121 CR 003958G shall be revoked by.
Sir, I would advise you not to say anything.
I'm already in traffic felony code already. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, that I'm in traffic felony code already.
That is not relevant to this case, sir.
Your Honor, I think he's just trying to tell you that I pulled him out of felony. He was actually in felony. I don't know if it's for this case or not, but he was in felony court just now.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may clarify, this case has to do with the February 10th incident date this year. His felony case was for yesterday.
Oh, there we go. All right. Mr. Davis, this, as you can see, let me just make sure of that. All right, you have, yes, this incident that we are addressing is one charge for a February 10th, 2022 incident. Your felony case involves a family violence battery case from a May 10th, 2022 incident. So it appears to be 2 separate cases.
That is the information I have as well.
All right. If you would just, anyway, in this particular case, his bond is $6,000 cash bond only, plus the $3,500 signature bond that's been revoked. So that's an additional $3,500 surety bond. I'm also, and his next court date is May 24th. Mr. Davis, I also need to put you on notice that due to the February 10th, 2022 incident, the district attorney's office may pursue a charge of aggravated stalking if you have violated the no contact order from case number 21 CR 003958G. That will be something that the Solicitor General's office and the district attorney's office would have to decide if they'd like to pursue it. Okay. The felony case appears to be from May 10th, 2022, involving Miss Kathy Mulder again.
And Your Honor, we anticipate that case to be bound down to a state court. He has not yet been convicted for any of his open cases. So it wouldn't be, he doesn't have a prior conviction for battery family violence yet on his record.
All right. So with regards to his next court date, which is May 24th, we're going to address this case from February 10th, 2022. We're going to address the companion case 21 CR 003958G. And Ms. Tortorello, I'm going to put it on you. The onus is on you. Once the other case gets transferred back to the Solicitor General's office, to have the proper accusation number. So if that's done in time, then we can address all 3 cases on May 24th at the SAP calendar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, was case number 17 handled? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to look at my calendar. Ms. Williams?
So what my bond's on? She's supposed to be
I think Kim waived the appearance. Right?
She's a waiver.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Kim waived the appearance.
Yeah, she
Okay.
waived
All
it.
right. I'm just going to go down the calendar before we get to any cases in which a waiver has been filed. Position 1, Curry, is reset to May 12th, expedited calendar. Position 2 is a 2,500 signature bond per the notice. Position 3 is a 3,500, this is going to be a $6,000 cash bond only, May 24th. Position 4, Franklin, is a position 4, 5, 6 are $2,000 cash bond only for each case, and those cases are going to be reset to May 24. Position 7, Freeman, is a 3,500 signature bond for pre-trial for the notice. Position 8 is a $7,000 split bond, 3,500 on each count, and reset dates May 24. Position 9 is a $2,000 signature bond for pretrial for the notice. Position 10, Jackson, is a, I think it was a 5,500 split bond.
I've got $5,000, Your Honor. I've got $3,000 signature bond on the lane change, then $1,500 on the DUI plus $1,000 on the open container, and the latter two. Okay, yeah, latter two were surety. So I'm sorry. Yeah, that's $5,500 total.
Yeah, so it's a $5,500 split bond. Reset date is May 24. Position 11, Johnson, is a 3,500 surety bond. Reset dates May 24. Position 12 is a $5,000 signature bond for pretrial for the
Per judge.
Per judge, yes, thank you. Position 13, Barry Lewis, is a $3,000 surety bond. Reset date May 24. Position 14, Manning, is a $5,000 surety bond. Reset dates May 24. Position 15 is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, and that's for the notice. Position 16, Simmons, is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial, and that's for the notice. Position 17 is going to be addressed shortly. Position 18, Williams, is a $2,000 surety bond, and that's going to be a reset to May 24.
16 is per judge.
16 is per judge, you're correct. All right, that concludes all the cases in which we have in-person hearings. So Ms. Kim, with regards to Bertha May, M-A-E Williams, case number 22 CR 002848C. She's accused of criminal trespass from May 10th, 2022. Okay, let me see how I get out of the screen, sorry. All right, Ms. Kim was booked at the Fulton County Jail on May 10th, 2022. So she's been there now for up to, well, yesterday and today. And you've got her waiver of appearance for
Yes, Your Honor.
Initial appearance?
Yes.
All right. So, and she's got another case, 22 CR 002088C. All right, Mr. Tucson, anything else to add?
49 total. Last arrest was last month for trespass, Georgia State.
Mhm.
She's on probation for trespass. 2021 probation violation, ag assault. I'm sorry, burglary in the first degree. FTAs for trespass, simple assault, and ag assault.
All right, that's good. Thank you. Mr. Cheney, what's your recommendation?
Your Honor, state would recommend $2,000 surety. I don't see the other case on my documents, but if she does have another trespass, it would be $1,000 on each.
I've only got one trespass. She has a prior case in which she took a plea.
Okay, Your Honor, yes, she has a lifetime ban from Georgia State University, and she keeps going over there. So the court wants to address that with, I mean, that's why we're asking for surety. Stay away from GSU, no weapons, drugs, alcohol, no new violations. Quite frankly, with that many convictions, that many cycles, maybe mental health. I don't know. That's not my position. I mean, that's not my a particular area as the prosecutor, but it seems to me something is going on there. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. She is 55 years old, and indeed, I am recommending her for social worker services with behavioral health evaluation tests to find out if there is any issues to be concerned about mental health evaluation. However, at this point, I think behavioral health evaluation is sufficient. She will be getting address from First Presbyterian Church, and so she will have a notice. She has been here in Georgia for, she doesn't even know exactly how many years she has been here. She does not have any family members. She has no employment for about 2.5 years. She says that her education was up to 10th grade, and yet she completed GED and went to college for business administration in Cincinnati, Ohio. She has expressed that she has no other issues whatsoever, and
Does she have family? I'm understanding that
no family.
yeah. All right, and she's residentially challenged, so yes, we just have someone who enjoys being inside a comfortable, warm, or cool building with nice furniture, like GSU Law School.
Yes.
Which I resent because we never had the advantage of those nice facilities. So anyways, I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, but yes, I'm familiar with Ms. Williams' unfortunate history. The bond's going to be set at $1,500, it's a surety bond. Please submit the request for the evaluations to Ms. Holly Bridgewater, and choose to stay away from all GSU property.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. This concludes our case. Ms. Bridgewater, did you have everything you need?
Yes, ma'am.
How much was that bond?
1,500, good bond.
All right, Mr. Bartel, Ms. Kim, thank you very much.
That's it, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. Good seeing you.
You too, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. Enjoy your Wednesday. We will. Some of you maybe tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.